So let's put the boxes together. I've got my 3 stickers. I'm going to do it in red. Here we've got my 3 boxes. I've got some scissors, a little cutting knife, a ruler, and a little cutting board. If you've just got scissors, you can make do with that. That's no problem. So if I just peel this off just a little bit so it's sticking up, with the light on that side shining through, I can see through and I can see the markings. Now we've got 2 little right angles, 2 90-degree right angles just here on either corner. Those are going to be where the outside corners of the box are. So the far from behind, the face of the box is here. Put the face down with the opening towards yourself. So this is the closed bit, the bottom of the box, if you will. I can push that in towards, and I can see those 2 little right angle marks there, the 2 little black marks on the edge, those 2 little right angles. That's where these corners need to be. So I can just get that in about there, and now I can start to line that up and kind of edging forward with the right hand and pulling back with the left hand until I know that it's in position. And there I can see, I don't know if you can see through with the light, but I can see perfectly, you can probably see it from that side, that box is lined up with those 2 corners. If I now push forward, that'll start to lift this off, and I want to start angling it round and pushing down. So that I'm going to try not to get any air bubbles in there as we go along, just pulling it a little bit, make sure it's perfectly on that corner. I'm not worried about the sides just yet, I'm just looking for that front, just to push straight on. And as I'm peeling this up, you can see it's going perfectly on until I get to that top edge. Now I can peel this all the way off, or I can choose to cut it right here. I'm going to cut mine here just to save a little bit of cutting later on. But if you've got scissors, you can peel that off and then trim it up later on. So now that goes right to the edge. I'm going to get these side pieces stuck down now. The way I do that, I'm going at right angles to the bottom there, and then I can just fold these corners around. Again, making sure there's no air bubbles in there. Just fold them around. There's a little bit of overhang. We're going to chop that off in just a second. Chop off the overhang on the sides. And now we just need to trim these edges. You can do it with the scissors. It's easy enough to do with the scissors. Just use the plastic as a guide to let your blade follow along. Very, very easy to do. I'm going to use the knife and the cutting board, and again just following that plastic line straight down. It is a little bit easier than using the scissors, but the scissors work just fine too. Just using that plastic as a little slide rule. If you, as a guide, if you are using the knife and it's sharp, just be careful obviously, but also be careful that you're not going to cut into the plastic. It is possible to go off, and if you're following the line of the plastic, just cut into the plastic a little bit, so just be wary of that. Use the cutting mat to guide you as well. And there we have a box fully stickered in under a minute. Let's do the others. Yeah, I'm going with the large box here. Got the bottom bit with the open piece. So, sticker up towards me, bottom bit facing me. I've got those 2 black marks. Again, just hold it up, slide this piece in. I can see through because of the light. Just trying to get the corners to touch. There's 2 black pieces. It's almost there. You don't need to push anything too hard. There's a little bit of give on this stick, so you can alter a little bit, just as long as you don't push it on too hard. Don't commit to anything unless you're happy that it's in position. Once it is in position and you're happy, you can just squeeze that down a little bit and then start to push forward and peel it over that corner. Show you from the side there, and I'm pushing up against it, making sure that there's no air bubbles forming. It's peeling straight off the back of the sticker, going straight onto the box. In with the knife, follow that plastic along. There you have it, 3 boxes nicely trimmed up in just a couple of minutes. So you've got your 3 boxes and you're ready to go. If you want to do the reboxing routine, the shuffle where they jump back into a box after you've shuffled them, then you do need to do a little bit of extra work. You're going to need 2 extra card boxes. One of them, we're going to cut off this front piece, and on the back of there we're going to stick a card to it. But let's cut off that front piece first. We'll just move these out of the way for a second. Let's just unpick that box along the seams, and then we can get a nicer cut in just a little bit, so where the box is glued together and stuck by USPCC. Let's okay, so I want this front piece here. I don't need any of the sides. I need the front piece and the lip at the top here. So I'll cut off these side pieces. Now we're probably going to trim these down again a little bit more in a minute, because it needs to fit exactly the size of a playing card. But there are guides on there right now that help me cut it just nicely. Cut at the bottom. And that gives us a front piece of card box with the top flap. We'll come back to that in just a second. What we need to do now is to stick a card onto the face of that. Now I would, in my own pack, I use a joker. This is a little battered and worn now, but I use a joker. So we'll stick the joker onto the pack, onto the cut-out card box. At the minute, this is the King of Clubs, so we'll stick that on there. And I'm going to get it as close to the top end, so where the flap is, I want that bit glued to the top of the card there. I'm going to trim this and cut it out later on, but that top end, just there where the flap folds over, you can fold it over and push that card against there. I want that right up to the top of there if possible. So once that's dry, I'm going to go in with the scissors this time and cut along the edge of the card. It just gives me a little bit more control than with that knife. So I'm going to trim around the card with the scissors, going around the corners. Just cutting right up to that edge. There we go. So that leaves us with a card with a flap on it. From this side you can see that it looks like a deck with the card coming out. That folds over there nicely. Just down at the bottom here, maybe just trim a little bit off the edge at the bottom. There we go. And that's ready to go. Now if I fold that backwards, I want to make sure that there's no overhang. There you can see there's just a little bit of overhang hanging off the edge of the card. So I'm just going to trim the edge of the flap of the box there. Just trim those edges off just a little bit. So now when it folds over, it's completely hidden behind that card. So once that part's made, we now have to gimmick the other box that we've got. And all we have to do there is stick a card on the face of that box. So I've just stuck a card on well, that's the face, on the back, I guess, of the box. The card is right at the top end, at this lip end here, of the box there, so the little thumb bit, the bit that you put your finger in, that's completely covered, because this is going to get tipped out and the cards are going to come out with it, but this, we don't want to see the edge of a box. So with that in mind, we also need to trim off the wings, the tabs there, and I'll bring them down just a little bit so that card sticks up just a touch over the box. Take those tabs right off. And also I'm going to, I don't know if you can see there, we've just angled that down a little bit on that end. Just angle it backwards just a touch. Makes those cards a little bit easier to fall out. I'm going to fold the fold on this box because this needs to pop out very, very easily and fold back over on itself very, very easily. So make sure that those folds, those creases that are already in the box, make sure that they're nice and loose and going to be remembered. So once we've got that out, there's one final little touch that we can do. Basically this is going to sit inside the smaller box. We'll open the flap up and then tip out the cards and push this box from behind. So that's going to look like the cards are coming out. But as you can see from this edge here, you can see the side of the box. So later on when we close it up, we want it to look like a box. So we're going to see this edge of the box. But as it's coming out of the box, we're going to see this edge and you can see that it's a box. So I'm going to put a piece of paper over there that hopefully is going to look like the side of a deck. Now you can draw lines onto this paper if you like. Elmer's glue on there. Now this is wet Elmer's glue. I'm going to wet the paper as well. Just trim this off. Trim it off at the top end there to match up with the side of the box. There we go, good to go. Once this goes inside, you can show it as a box, tip off and the edge, tip up, it should be that way. As those cards just tip forward, I can push out that box, and you can see on the side of the box there, it just looks how it should. And now we've got this regular side of the box down here. So we've made all the bits. Let's get into the setup of our reboxed routine. We've got a deck of cards here. It's not a full deck. You need to take a few cards out so that they slide nicely out of the box. You could do it with a full deck if you really need to, but I would advise and prefer to use just a few cards less because we've got this this gimmick in there and we just want everything to slide nicely out when we tip it over. So we've got the flap box, we'll call this, the flap box gimmick. That goes onto the face of the deck at the bottom with the flat part folded backwards and at the bottom of the deck as this goes in. So the flap is going to be the last thing to come out. We've got the gimmick box with the white down the side and the card glued to the front. So we're going in so that everything's coming out face up. Then close the box up, but I don't tuck the lip inside the box. I put that on the outside of the box over the fake card there. That goes on the outside of the box, and then that is going to go inside the smallest box. So you can see this is the opening for the box. That goes on the inside so that we can pull this open as though we're pulling out a regular piece of box. Turn this over, tip the cards out, and then from behind I'm just going to push with the fingers there, and that's going to tip that box out. I can pull this out, and then all I need to do is rotate that box and it's back inside. The rotation, basically, the cards are hanging out like this. My index finger is used as like a fulcrum point to put. None of the cards come all the way out of the box. That's important to tell you. They're not all the way out, and they're kind of tapered down. This front card looks like it's just come out of the box there. They come out. It kind of use the index finger as a fulcrum. I can push against that That pushes all the cards back into the box. As I rotate, my thumb from behind kind of clips that and closes it straight up. So we can tip forward. The index finger is the fulcrum. I push everything against that. As I rotate, the thumb clips and comes back into position. So from the front here, it's from here, boom, straight back in the box. So from here, straight back into the box. And I kind of push this forward and bring this hand back, and it's a very clean display that everything is at the fingertips and there's nothing sneaky. So that goes inside the smallest of the multiplying boxes. Goes in with the flap at the top on the outside of the gaffed box. Next we have the medium one, the middle size, and this is going to go, they're going to alternate. So the small extra box pulls off to the right hand side, the medium box is going to pull off to the left hand side, and then the big box again is going to pull off to the right hand side. So they kind of, if we look like that, small, medium, large. Each one goes in the opposite way each time. For the production of the first extra box, I'm going to hold it with the 3 fingers and the thumb behind. The fingers are bent, and I'm just going to kind of extend them. Now the hand is covering this part, so you can't see the middle box coming out. But it's very easy now, there's a big gap there, it's very easy for me to go in from behind and just kick that forward. I can display at the fingertips, the fingers are bent, I straighten those fingers, take it into the other hand just to readjust, come forward, and I've just taken that box straight off. So I can show here, go to here and come forward, and it's kind of appeared in the other hand. I'm going to put this down and do exactly the same thing this hand. My fingers would be on the edges. I'm going to rotate and readjust so that I'm in the same position that I was with the right hand, now in the left hand with the fingers bent, the thumb behind, and I can just do that same move again. But I'm going to give a little surprise sort of thing, because if you just do this it looks like it slides off. You can come forward with it, or I like to have it in the hand just like a little surprise. So I'm surprised that the box has appeared. I'm doing the reaction to the box appearing before the box appears. So from here I go whoo, and it's just there. Now all the while I'm keeping the opening of this box in towards the hand and towards myself. I'm also keeping the back of the box here, I'm keeping that downwards and covered. For the third one, I'm going to unpeel this. The real box is inside, remember. Just unpeel this, turn the whole thing around, tip those cards out, and from behind just push with the thumb to give me a little bit of fulcrum to pull this box off. And I kind of slide it up just so that they're not going to get a flash of that it's not a full box. Slide it up, and that just keeps everything covered, and it's also a natural way that you would take the cards out of the box. So I'll just show you that again. Open this up, tip it over, and kind of slide it backwards and put the hand forward. And as I get to here, I can just tilt it backwards, rotate and pop it down. From here, just do that move and we turn it straight back in again. And I take these cards out of the box, back face up. I don't want to show this side because it's got a fake card on it. So I've rotated the cards. So rotate the cards, come to here, and I want to remove the cards from this side of the box. So backs first, take them out, put that down, again showing, keeping the card and the white bit hidden so it looks like a regular box. I've now got the fake gimmick card here. I'm going to shuffle that one card off and put my fingers in behind and start to kick that open. Now you're not going to see anything from the front. I can just shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Once those are all shuffled up and squared up, and I rotate around the fingers, kind of holding the bottom half of the deck in that bottom corner in like a fulcrum again, and I rotate everything around and push forward square. which shows the deck. I can now open this up from the front and pretend I don't really do anything here. Just open that flap up, go in with the fingers and pull backwards, turn the hands, and it's like we pull the deck out. I can fan and the cards have vanished, and all I need to do now is to get rid of that card. Again, if this is a joker, I think this was a Gregory Wilson thing. If that's a joke, you say, oh, we don't need the joker, and I'll put it away. Very, very quick, very, very simple. So the card with the gimmick back, the back is at the bottom. This goes into the deck face with the matching face of the gimmick box. This is closed up. The lip isn't put inside the box, it's left on the outside, but it does go inside the smaller multiplying box, inside the smallest shell, so it's inside there. Now alternate the size, this way and this way. The first production, show at my fingertips, the fingers are bent. All I have to do is push forward. From the front you don't see the push forward, the fingers are covering, but I push forward, kind of with the thumb, pull back a little bit. That leaves me a big gap here to be able to put the hand inside and just kick that up. It just kicks up and I can put it in the hand, and then I kind of kick forward with the side of the fingers, grab with the middle finger and thumb on the deck behind, the right hand now grabs the front deck and comes forward and splits. So from here to here. So from here to here. Again, now I just rotate the hand, reposition, so that I'm in a position where the left fingers can push forward and the left thumb can pull back. Do the same move again, but this time I'm going to take it off with the right hand. So I'm not going to switch like this, like I did the first time. This time I'm going to come away with the right hand. This one down, I now take up the lip, rotate everything, tip forward so that the cards start to tip out, and now with the finger at the back, the thumb just push that deck forward, which means that I can now grip the side of the box and pull this backwards, put that out of the way. Now everything rotates around this index finger, kind of fulcrum point. I just push forward, rotate, and then the thumb at the back grips as I come forward, and I hold everything between the finger and thumb. So one more time, tip forward, pull the card back, turn it over, and it's at the fingertips. Now remove the cards backside out, facing the audience. As I turn to shuffle, I peel off that first gimmick card, peel that into the hand, the fingers go inside. So from this side I kind of go in and just get a little break and kick that forward. So that's lying in the hand like this. Shuffle, 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 trying to keep this as square as possible. And then once it's squared up, I can take everything, and it kind of hits against the little finger there. As I rotate, that just closes that lid up and I move forward. Keep the thumb down the edge, keep the fingers covering the side of the deck as much as possible, and I can display the box. Now open that lid, come forward, and then I just pinch everything. As I move forward and rotate the hand over, it's like I'm pulling the cards out of the box. The box vanishes, I can display the cards, and all I have to do is get rid of that gimmick card. So at full speed I can show the box. The second box appears, coming, the third box appears, open this third box up, tip the cards out, put that box away, the cards go back into the box, take everything out this way, give the cards a little shuffle, rotate the hands, the cards are back in the box, take the cards out of the box vanishes, and I can display a full deck of cards. So that's the rebox routine.